Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, November 7th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. We got a lot to discuss, including Google dropping numerous search features, Google's testing new AI mode features and responses, Google's still tricking people into clicking on their ads, and so much more. So definitely stay tuned. And of course, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Bruce Clay. Bruce Clay is one of the founding fathers of the SEO space, doing search marketing since 1996. Bruce is big into SEO training, so check them out at seotraining.com. You can also learn more about Bruce Clay and his services at bruceclay.com. They're a really big and wonderful search marketing company. Also, they have this product called prewriter.ai. It helps you become a better writer, empowers you to do more things with your writing. So check them out at prewriter.ai. Thanks again to Bruce for sponsoring. Deeply appreciate all you do. Okay, so Google announced very vaguely that they're dropping a bunch of search features in the coming months, I guess, weeks, who knows, or maybe immediately. John Mueller posted on the Google search blog, "We're simplifying the search results by removing some features that aren't being used very often and aren't adding significant value to users." Basically, they did confirm that certain structured data is going away, specifically the practice problem structured data. They also said that data set structured data is not using Google search, it's just using Google dataset search specifically, but not web search. And they also confirmed that book actions structured data, which they said will be going away, is no longer going away because it's used in other areas of search. And then I asked what other search features are being removed, and Google gave me a list, but not a full list, basically saying that today's doodle box is going away, nutrition facts, nearby offers and events, local bike share station status, TV season selector. And then they also said, and more small organizational elements of a page that were rarely used in many instances didn't even have official names. So a bunch of search features that you may or may not have used are going away soon. And with that, a couple structured data elements. Google will keep us updated on what structured data elements are going away in the future, if there are more, which there probably will be. And I wonder if AI will replace it all or not, but we'll see. Also, Google's testing new versions of AI mode responses. Yes, ChatGPT and Perplexity and all the other ones have like, which one do you like better? And so they give you like 2 or 3 responses, and you can pick 2 or 3 responses. But this one is Google showing you 2 different responses and saying, I want to pick which one I like better. It says, click on this blue box and say, I prefer this one. It's basically saying, you're reading this, not just using it, but you're also saying, telling Google that I prefer one over the other. You're not sure which one is actually the new version of AI mode responses, but it is Google's testing that. This is spotted by Len. Nice find there. It's nice to see Google testing this. Also with AI mode, Google is rolling out 3 new Agentic capabilities. They originally launched restaurant reservations, where AI mode can help you book a restaurant reservation. Now it's offering you the ability to book event tickets, book beauty appointments, and also wellness appointments directly in AI mode. This was announced by Robbie Stein and the folks at Google. Glenn Gay posted some screenshots of that as well. Also, Rose from Google also posted some videos and screenshots of this as well, which I have on the blog post at Search Engine Roundtable. So Seer Interactive updated their click-through rate study on how AI overviews are impacting the click-through rate both to organic search results and paid search results. And the numbers are not looking good. Originally, we say, hey, AI overviews are killing the click-through rate. Well, it seems to be that's the trend. Overall, click-through rates on AI overview with AI overviews on the page where you aren't cited are dropping the click-through rate on organic results by 65%, on paid results 78%. When you are cited in the AI overview, your click-through rate is not as bad, but it's still dropped year over year, 49% on organic, and paid it's down about 54%. And when there are no AI overviews on page, there's still a drop. Organically, you drop 46%, and on paid search 20%. And they give this chart showing the month-over-month drop. And as Greg Finn said, something that seems a bit weird because it dropped from 2 double digits, like month before was 10% click-through rate on paid search, and then in July, from June to July, it dropped to like 3%, which is a huge drop. So something looks a little bit weird. And I saw a Googler actually comment saying, well, with the num parameter changing, how are you actually measuring this stuff? It's a little bit differently, so it seems a little bit convenient with the num 100 parameter going away. Google's testing replacing the definitions box, which they had for probably 2 decades now, where you do ask Google, what's the definition of this word, or you type in a word and it gives you a definition box at the top with an AI overview. This is spotted on Reddit. Glenn Gabe surfaced this as well. This is actually going on for a couple of months. I believe I was able to replicate this as well. I'm not sure if I like AI overviews instead of definitions, but hey, Google seems to be using AI for everything. Then John Mueller posted a public service announcement around Google Search Console and using cloud services. So if you're using AWS or any cloud environment for hosting your images or videos or other files, you could definitely use a custom domain. Like if you're using images to host your files, you could use images.yourdomain.com. And then you should be able to verify that CNAME directly in Google Search Console so you can actually track the performance of all your CNAMEs directly in Google Search Console to see how well that cloud environment is doing for your images or videos or other files. So that was his PSA. He gave a little how-to on how to do that, which is very useful because a lot of people don't even know about that. Grokipedia seems to be growing really quickly in the actual search results. Google, last I looked, was indexing about, it started earlier this week, and they only had 400 pages. Grokipedia launched October 27th with about 800,000 AI-generated Encyclopedia-like Wikipedia pages, but all AI-generated. And that immediately, Google had nothing indexed, but if you look now, Google has thousands of pages indexed, I think about 2,000 pages indexed in about a week, and Bing has, I think, tens of thousands of pages indexed. It took a little bit while, but it seems like the search engines are eating up these AI-generated pages. We'll see how fast that goes and if they actually start to outrank Wikipedia at some point. We will see. Google's testing a tinted, scroll parchment-like background color for its search results. I'm not sure why. This was originally spotted by Kashul. I thought it was some kind of bug, but the actual background color is not white. It's this like parchment yellow color. And then Jamie Press also spotted this as well and sent me a screenshot. And they're also testing things with a footer, according to Gag and Gorta. Weird, but Google's always testing, so we'll see what happens with that. Also, I posted the big Google Webmaster report. It was posted in November, so I called it November Google Webmaster report, where I sum up everything that happened over the past month. If you missed it, I posted on November 4th. It's a really good way to catch up on what happened over the past month, so definitely take a look at that. On the ad side, it seems like a lot of people, even search marketing experts like Will Reynolds, Glenn Gabe, Greg Finn, even myself, I click on ads by accident, especially with navigational queries. My habit has always been if I search for a brand, I will scroll past the ads for their brand name. Why cost them money to click on them when I'm searching for the brand and go to the organic listings? I think 2 weeks ago, I accidentally clicked on an ad to go to that brand for the navigational query because of the new grouped sponsor results label. It has this big sponsor results, and it puts a bunch of ads below it grouped together. And then below that, it has the organic results under the hide results button. But when you're on mobile, it's really hard. You're scrolling, and you don't know where the organic results start and end until you scroll far enough. And Google's like, it's to make navigation easier, it's to make everything easier and more visible and so forth. But if they really wanted to let you hide the results, they would put the hide sponsor results button at the top and not at the bottom. And a lot of people are accidentally clicking on these. And then Sear Interactive, I spotted this via Cyrus, but Corey Shriek Graf posted some data showing that, click-through rates are increasing on search ads since this launch. 69% of new campaigns saw a click-through rate increase. And they broke out this data, which is pretty interesting. So, I'm sure search marketers might like this, PPCers might like this, but you want to get the click when you want to get the click, not an accidental click. So, never a fan of this new layout, but Google's going to do what Google does to get more clicks to their ads, to make more money, and so forth. Google last night announced that their new Performance Max features, one is Waze ads will, for local in-store inventory and so forth, will be available or is available now with PMax campaigns. So automatically, you don't have to do anything. If you're doing Performance Max campaigns, your ads could actually show up in the Waze. When you're driving down with Waze, those ads could actually show up there as promoted pins. A lot of PPCers are not happy about that because they want to be able to control that, but you won't be able to control it. And also Google updated channel performance reporting to make it available for all in Performance Max, which is a big feature there. Google also updated Google Ads Editor 2.11. This new version is out as of, I guess, this week. You should be careful when downloading it and trying it out. The previous version was 2.10, which came out in July, so this has been a few months since we had an updated version. And there's a bunch of new features in there, which I broke down on the Search Engine Roundtable on November 6th, so take a look at that for more information. And then Google Merchant Center has added a new feature for promotions for basically isolating your top performing products. This is spotted by Emmanuel Flossie at Feed Army, where he said Google just launched a new feature for promotions in Google Merchant Center, allowing anybody to target their top performing products, and makes it a little bit easier right before the holiday shopping season to do those types of things. Also, a new promotion feature which just launched also, it's called audience targeting for promotions. You can actually do preferred audience targeting, say I only want to target these products for these types of audiences for this promotion. That also launched this week as well. And then also Google Merchant Center has this new section called Creative Content section, which basically seems like a product studio section, but is now labeled Creative Content. This is a nice find there as well, so good find there. And then also Google Merchant Center has something called Smart Cropping, where they will take your images and smartly crop them to make them look better in the Google shopping results. This is sometimes works, a lot of times it does work, but sometimes it doesn't. So Kirk Williams, PPC Kirk, posted on LinkedIn where he was able to actually email Google and say, I don't like this work, it's not working out well for me. And Google said you can actually opt out of it via email. So he posted the email information about how to opt out for smart cropping in Google Merchant Center. And then Google Maps has a new update. It now has a Gemini feature where it's powered by Gemini. You can actually get a bunch of new features with that. Specifically, it includes the ability to navigate using Gemini with landmark-based navigation. So you can say, instead of turn 500 feet, it will say turn after this gas station or this specific one. It also has proactive traffic alerts, which basically give you the ability to, before you actually leave, it will say there's going to be traffic here and so forth. Also, there's Google Lens built into Gemini. And some other features as well, like you're able to go ahead and ask Gemini directly in Google Maps, find me a restaurant that does this, this, and that, have a whole conversation with Google Maps using Gemini, and it will actually tell you about that restaurant or whatever it might be, and let you navigate there as well, which is pretty cool. Google Maps powered by Gemini. Google seems to be testing a new reviews box. It has a reviews summary spotted by SEO Mata, who said Google Reviews is inserting this service section, and I'm pretty sure it's inserting a great price, $100 to $200 price range. It seems to be new. I couldn't replicate this myself, so nice find there. Here's a screenshot of that. On the more business side of news, Reddit announced their earnings report, which discussed on It's New, but basically some points in there that their stock did very well. I think they announced it a week ago, actually today, that their search traffic is flat, meaning they're not growing with search traffic. They said their AI search or AI chatbot traffic has not really grown much. They said AI is not a traffic driver for them. And then they said 50% of their overall traffic does come from Google. Seems like a scary stock because they're so dependent on search and Google, but they're doing a lot of other things that investors love. Also on the business news, Raptive, a publishing company, which is an advertising sales company representing thousands of different websites, content publishers and so forth, filed a lawsuit against Google. We're saying they use data to cheat them. Google has carried out sophisticated anti-competitive and deceptive schemes for well over a decade, according to the alleged lawsuit, by manipulating auctions for ad space across the internet. This could be $1 billion plus lawsuit. We'll see what happens with it, but a lot of publishers are happy about this lawsuit. Google Discover is testing infinite scroll forever. Maybe it's fully live. I actually see it now as well. And originally, a couple weeks ago, I did not see it, but you can just keep scrolling through this Google Discover over and over and over again. It will not end. This is originally spotted by Gag and Gorta. And also, I compiled a bunch of Google Discover tests. I'm not going to go through them all right now, but I posted about it this morning on Search Engine Roundtable between Damien Adele and Gag and Gorta, spotting all these discovery tests, different titles, different layouts, different icons, and so forth. What it's showing, what it's not showing. Definitely took a look at that Google Discover thing because a lot of publishers do get a lot of traffic from Google Discover. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. And again, thanks to Bruce Clay for sponsoring. Everyone have a great, safe weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Goodbye.